is denying being racist. Fergus Wilson says it was an economic decision as he's had to spend thousands on cleaning carpets when tenancies ended. That's the latest. I'm Barry Weir.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to you. You're listening to the Drive Time Show on 1FM 103.1 FM. Your voice, your choice, and I'm your presenter, Nasar Raoof. Inshallah, I'll be with you through to 6 o'clock, and inshallah, for those of you watching now, we'll also be able to see us on Facebook Live, joining me with my studio guest, which I will introduce in just one moment in time. So for those of you that are joining us on Facebook Live just now as well, Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to you as well. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to the Drive Time with me, Nasar Raoof. Inshallah, I'll be with you through to 6 o'clock now, and we've got an interesting topic of discussion. Inshallah, we're joined by Ifzal, Fazal, who's joining us as well, an activist from the community of Nether Edge. And inshallah, this individual will be soon off to Pakistan, as I believe, to fight for the local elections and the local people there as well. But just before he goes out, he's practicing, he's warming up, and he's got an event actually that he's organised tomorrow as well to bring the community somewhat together, and we're going to find out about that. We're going to find out more details and what's the need to have an event like that. Is it just a publicity stunt, or does it go beyond that? Does it touch the very issue within the community at this moment in time of condemnation, being apologetic? Is it some kind of guilt? These will be some of the aspects that are put across to people so far. Just before the ads and before the last ads, the first ad break, we were listening to Lisa Parker saying that that inevitably, if we're condemning something, we're condemning it as human beings, not just as Muslims, but as human beings, because inevitably that's what needs to be done. Of course, you can share your views with us as well on here, audible 142425 and also your text number as well, which is 07885599786. Let's get our introductions done with our studio guest that's been very patiently sat here for the last 10-15 minutes now, and is going to be coming on to air to talk about the event organised tomorrow. Let's give him a warm welcome onto Drive Time. It's Ifzal Fazal. Assalamu alaikum to you first of all.
Walaikum salam sahab.
Ji Ifzal sahab, kaise ho?
Oh, alhamdulillah, ठीक ठाक. Thank you for Iman FM to bring me on. And
Jazakallah. As always, we're very grateful for you to come on again. Alhamdulillah, you've been working your way across various media platforms now. Alhamdulillah, you're doing really, really well. Just to first of all introduce this event that you're organising, just give a bit of background information as to why you felt as though there was a need for Sheffield to embark upon something like this.
It's a good question. The thing is, it was very important because I think the event is for raising awareness.
Okay.
Raising awareness that we as humans disregard the killing of innocent people, and especially when they tag the name Islam into it as well, who's got nothing to do with it. And this is just to first of all pay respects for the people that lost their lives in Westminster in London just last week. And it's been a week. It will be a week tomorrow, and it's to show respect, solidarity, and I want to show the people that we are one, and especially living here, we have a very good life. We enjoy ourselves here. We condemn any such attacks on any innocent people anywhere in the world. Never mind just London, anywhere in the world, where there's innocent killings. It's against any religion. Not just Islam, in any religion of this world, it condemns such acts, and it should never be labelled. And as a community, we should get together. It was very important because we all felt bad when we heard about it. We all had our hearts put out, and it was very important definitely for our local masjid. When I spoke to the committee members, our elderly, and they were very happy. They were very thrived. They said, we will be here. We'll be here in numbers, and we are ready to show to the world, to show everybody that we are one. and there's nobody that can divide us with such devastating acts.
Ifzal, let's talk about the reasons. You've given many reasons as to why you've organised this event. One question I will ask you upright, and I've been asking all my listeners out there, and inevitably you're an intelligent man, you can answer this as well. And it's from the perspective that from many people I've seen on Facebook and on social media, on Twitter feeds and stuff, they've been very, very offensive, very, very degrading towards Islam, and in the fashion that they're saying, well, hold on a second. And there's certain people within the Muslim community also saying this as well, that inevitably, why are we condemning something? Why are we condemning it? Inevitably in our religion, a religion of peace, Islam, meaning, the very meaning is peace. So why inevitably are we condemning such things? Do you feel as though there's a certain amount of guilt as a Muslim? Do you feel as though you feel a little guilt that because this person was a Muslim, I have got to come out and condemn? Or what's the thought behind that?
No, it's nothing to do with being a Muslim and what guilt for what. You know, there's no guilt, there's no sorry. We are. This happened in our land, England. We are born here, and it's happened somewhere where in the heart of England, London, and in the heart of London as well, in the Westminster. And the people that lost their lives, we are with them. We are with their families. We felt very bad, and we felt awful when such acts happened. And this is not to. There's no guilt. Guilt for what? Nothing like that. And we felt very. This is for as humans. We have a sense of responsibility for each other. You know, this is not for a single sect or a religion. No, this is. There was. Don't forget, there was people that died there. There was human loss. Human lives got lost that day, and we are condemning that. And in the fashion that it happened, that's what we're condemning against.
There'll be more people that will be raising the question. For example, one that's been raised on our platform as well, many times when we've discussed the Westminster attack throughout many shows here as well, and that is the issue of inevitably of the rest of the community. There are many within our own community that are saying at this moment in time we shouldn't be condemning these attacks. In fact, what we should be doing is condemning it as a human being, and inevitably we can move on from there. And inevitably our religion is the religion of peace. Just one question for you before I go on to the bigger point, and that is a question. As a Muslim, do you feel as though this is the right way to take things, is to come out there into the media, come out in there into the public forum, get people together and say this is not our religion and our religion is this? Do you think that would help people? Would that help with integration and help with the wider community that is watching in on it?
Of course it will. You know, this is, look, it covers everything. You see, it covers what kind of thoughts we have for the people. It shows how we are as a community. We have to look at England as our home.
Okay.
You know, this is all our family. When one gets hurt, we all feel hurt. Okay. So this is very important, and in our community, the members that I've spoke to, they all condemning it. They all condemn that this is very bad. And initially we heard that some people start pointing fingers at Islam, which was totally out of order. There was nothing like that. But tomorrow, the program that I'm doing is simply for one reason, that we feel hurt. We are, as a family, we want to all live in peace. We are living in harmony, and just a small group of, I don't know, disturbed companies, organizations, I don't know what to call them, and I don't think they really know themselves who they are, and just because of them we don't want to destroy our lifestyles. We're having a great time here, and alhamdulillah, we will show that we are one. We all are one, regardless of our race, religion, wherever we're from. We are one, and we condemn any sort of attack in our country, which is England.
Do you think that when these incidents come, Muslims come out, people come out in huge numbers and start doing things, condemning, start creating awareness about this, which inevitably you're doing tomorrow, which should be applauded inevitably because you're doing something. But on the other side of it, people would say, well, where are the Muslims? And certain individuals say, where are the Muslims 365 days a year? They're not fully integrated. Do you think we as Muslims have done enough in this country to try and integrate with British culture, British way of life?
Look, integrating, and look, we're always going to be doing. We're always going to be playing our part. We have to play our part. There's no way of. This is just to spread knowledge throughout England, throughout Britain, throughout to the world, that we as a nation are one, and we'll have our differences, but we don't sort them out in this way. And this is just to spread knowledge as well. So we're trying to cover everything. When we stand firm tomorrow for 365 days a year, of course we're doing everything we can, and we should. because we live here, we enjoy ourselves here, and there's a group that's trying to divide us. That's how I feel, that there's a certain group which is trying to divide us, which is dividing the people of England, dividing the people of Britain, and we're not going to allow that. It's not going to happen. We won't let them enter the shows.
Let's go to our phone lines here and let's see who's joining us for this moment in time. If anybody else wants to join us, order 142425200 and our text number 07885599786. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM.
Walaikum salam, Nasar, how are you?
Ji, alhamdulillah. If I'm not confused, it is Jangir Akhtar from Rotherham.
Hi, you okay?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Just before you do, I think a little bit of introduction is in order. Ifzal, we're joined on the line by Jangir Akhtar. He's the former deputy leader of Rotherham Council, and mashallah, alhamdulillah, he's now enjoying himself. He's retired from politics. I think he's put that into the wardrobe and won't come back to it for some period of time. But alhamdulillah, welcome back to the drive time. And what would you want to share with us, my dear friend?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't catch your guest name. Assalamu alaikum to him as well.
Ifzal, Fazal.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. You've been discussing this vigil, I understand, a 1 minute vigil. I got a text message from some of my friends that passed on that there's going to be a vigil tomorrow. Look, I think I'm very loath to criticize or anyone who really are trying to do good things, and because it's all about the intent, and I think the intentions are very, very good. They have got the intentions are right, but this is, I think, actually you summed it up quite well, because I think I have a concern that this will be seen as a form of a guilt complex that we are, and I will elaborate. I'll explain what I mean by this. Okay, because this was a terrible tragedy, and especially with a policeman being killed in the line of duty as well, which is horrendous. And the innocent people as well. And I fully empathise, and I feel so sad for the people who have lost their loved ones. Is that, can you think back when an equal horrendous act was committed by a white supremacist when he killed Joe Cox, a wonderful member of parliament who was brilliant in all the social work she used to do. She was a wonderful example of what a leader should be. How many Muslim organizations held a vigil for her? Now, and I'll tell you the difference. The difference will be is that the killer was not a Muslim. So how many Christians came out and said, well, we're holding a vigil because we're a Christian? This is, and I've said this first, by the way, please, and my brother sat in the office there, I am not criticizing you or anybody else. This is about everybody. Look, we all have different ways of trying to promote peace, harmony, and tranquility amongst our community. So I'm not criticizing anyone. But I think our community is politically very naive. I think we are being put in a corner by those voices of the establishment in corners of the right-wing press that we're the Muslims. Why should I apologize? Because that's what you're doing. Why should I apologize?
Some would disagree with that. Some would disagree with that.
I understand that. No, listen, Nasser, I fully understand that, and I respect people's positions, and I respect somebody who takes time out to organize things, because they're doing it from the goodness of their heart. So I am not judging why the actions are. I just think that it's not just this vigil, it's that why should the Muslims hold a vigil because the perpetrator was a Muslim? Now, if it's because it's an act of humanity, that because there was a loss of life, fine. But then, when Joe Cox was murdered, did we see hundreds of Muslims coming on radio shows, coming on TV stations, and saying, no, we should hold a vigil for this? And it's all about getting politically astute, and I think there is an element of political naivety in our community, and it's not hard to see why, because we are constantly bombarded with every day that we are some kind of a fifth column, that we are not loyal to this country, that we are not patriotic. And every survey you do, the highest percentage of Muslims align themselves with this great country that they've made their home. And I just think, people, as I said, I'm not criticizing anyone, and I hope it's a great event and it goes well. I just think there has to be a different way of promoting. Look, Islam does not need to be. You know that anybody who's got a semblance of intelligence knows that Islam does not promote violence. Anybody who has an intelligence, that the only people are the knuckle draggers who will constantly take things out of context. You know, I read an article a while ago, and it looks at the references to violence compared in Islam and in the Old Testament. There is 20 times more references to violence and act in the Bible than there are in Islam, in the Quran.
I'm not wanting to really go down that far, but what I'm going to say to you is majority of some of the atrocities that we've seen happen in this country, many of the terrorist plots that are unfolded, keep on flogging up the names of Muslims. Surely there is a problem somewhere. Even you've got to understand, acknowledge somewhere there is a problem. These people that are committing terrorist activities across the world, even as the 7 attacks for the last 7 attacks that's happened within the EU, within European countries, majority of the suspects recently have been Muslim, so you can't run away from that fact, can you?
Well, all right. I take your point and let me elaborate on that. You are right, because the attacks that are reported, you don't hear of the attacks and the murders by Buddhists. Now, Buddhists is supposed to be one of the most peaceful religions in the world. Look what they're doing in Myanmar. Look at the Hindus killing the Muslims in India, in Kashmir. The Hindus. So there are extremists in all religions. Look at the evangelicals in America, the white supremacist group. So please, because just because you don't see it in the Daily Mail and it's not on the BBC, do not think it does not happen within other religions.
But that is around the world. Here, I'm talking about here in this country, and some of our close countries like France, like Belgium, various of the attacks that have been folded in Germany are being committed mainly by people that claim to be Muslims. Whether they are or not is not the debate, but they claim to be Muslims. And the very issue here is the fact that we have individuals like Ifzal Fazal that has come to the studio today, and they're organising these events. Do you think then that the very purpose of this is some sort of political stunt or some sort of media stunt, or do you think that these individuals should be doing?
No, Nasar, now come on.
Okay.
Don't be naughty. I never said that. I never said that. I said much respect to people like Fazal and people who are doing something rather than sitting at home doing nothing. I think it's a great honour that they are actually doing something. I just think.
Also, I would like to add something, Uncle.
Just let Ifzal come in here. 1 second. 1 minute.
Uncle, what I would like to add is that today I'm the second, third generation of this country here. I'm born here. One thing that these organizations, whoever it is that's promoting Islam in a bad way, Muslims in a bad way, humans, if that need be, they need to know that we are not going to sit here in the corner. The more they bombard us, we're just going to run away. We are going to come into the front and we're going to go with them eye to eye and let them know that no, what you have just said there is wrong. We are against this. We will stay against this, and there is no way in this world where you're just going to keep bombarding us and we're just going to go quiet. Okay, fair enough, our fathers did a good job. Our elders are doing a great job. They've done it, but they need to know that the second, third, fourth generation, need be any other generations that's going to come inshallah in the future, they will stand with eye to eye. So they need to use other ways of trying to attack us, because this way is definitely not going to work.
So inevitably what he's trying to do, what the aim of what Ifzal Fazal is taken away here is saying that inevitably he wants to do something, and surely you must appreciate that.
Hang on, Nasar. If you replay what I said, you're being very naughty again, right? I did not criticize Afzal or any of his colleagues who are organising this. I was making a general political point that, in my understanding, when you said, because I need to take you up on this, you said all the terrorists or killings of the reason being done Muslim. Hang on a minute. We had an 80-year-old Muslim who was going to pray Fajr being murdered by a thug. We had we've had an 80-year-old man in Birmingham was killed by a right-wing fascist. So please don't say it's just the so-called Muslims who commit terrible acts. And just remember this as well. When a non-Muslim commits an act, it's called a criminal act. It's either he's mentally not well or he's a criminal. When a Muslim does the same act, he's automatically called a terrorist. So please, we need to step back, analyze things, and of course, come on radio shows, explain the situation. Let's not let the right wing and let the fascists get away with that. All I'm saying is that we need to be making sure that the message that goes out, and I love what he just said, the Justician man, we need to stand eye to eye, and we need to challenge this most beautiful of religions, what God has sent for all humanity, not just for one section of the community. The whole of Islam is for all. But you see, there are many socio-political problems why people smarter than myself are looking at why they convert to Islam. Because look, this individual, he was a violent Christian before he became a violent Muslim. Now he converted in prison because it may be that there's obviously great things that Islam offers, but some people latch onto it, and unfortunately it gives them a feeling of cover for their criminal activities.
Okay.
Which will expose now. This is a time to expose that. This part what they've learned, this part what they're studying is totally out of order. This is not Islam. This is nothing to do with Islam. And today, what I'm trying to clarify, I'm just trying to clear the air from my side, is that we as humans, we've got a job to look after. And if somebody's going to come around and just give a little label and try to say and try to get away from it and build on it, it's not going to happen now. We will try to knock them out as we will.
Jangir, just before you do, I'm going to let you come in again. We've got to come up to the ad breaks, yeah? And as always, I'll let you come in again. But inshallah, I've got to let you go now. And inshallah, I'll let you come back on in a short while. And inshallah, we can have that discussion with you when it continues with Ibrar next as well, after the ad breaks. But I do want to cover this event as well. So Jangir will be allowed to ring back if he wants to, on 142425200. And of course, you can share your views and thoughts as well. Because inevitably, look, I'm going to put the perspective across. Inevitably, the perspective I'm putting across is apology after apology, or condemnation is the word. Condemning this act is what it's being called. What's your views and what's your thoughts on it? And get in touch with us here. Ifzal, tomorrow, give us the layout of the event. What's it going to be like? What kind of people? Is it brothers, sisters, young ones, children are going to be at school at that time? But inevitably, so women and men, people can attend.
It's for everybody in the community. We as a community are getting together. This is for everybody from any religion, ethnicity, anything. It's for everybody. Okay. This is for anyone from around the world. Anyone that condemns such acts is for everybody. We all want to get together. We're sending a strong message out that look, we are together. There's nobody that's going to divide us. We condemn such acts anywhere in the world, never mind just London. And we're not going to allow it in London. We're not going to let people allow to diversify us. It's not going to happen. We are going to stay strong, and we are going to stay strong as a community. And it's for everybody to come down. It's just a standoff, really, for everyone. And we're standing with the people of London, the people that lost their lives, their families. We sympathise with them. I don't know what word to use.
Yeah. Is there going to be various speeches? People are going to be addressing the crowd. Who have you got? Have you got anybody confirmed as so far as attending?
We'll have, inshallah, we'll have our local councillors. I spoke to Ibrar Sahab, everyone, and Raoof Sahab. We've got our councillors. We've got our people from the community, our dignitaries. We will try to. It depends if they've got time allocations, because there is something else happening in town hall around after 2:30. So we're trying to get pulling as much people together. Everyone's allowed to give their views. There'll be a few media personnel, so everyone's allowed to just say what they want and how they feel. It's just about everybody how they're feeling at the moment. That's about it, and just spreading awareness and a bit of knowledge of the people of Sheffield, people from Nether Edge, and definitely from Medina Masjid.
Inshallah, definitely. It sounds like a fantastic event, and inshallah, best of luck to you as always, Ifzal. And when are you off to Pakistan then for your activity there? Because I understand you want to get involved in them politics as well.
Yeah, inshallah, of course I am, and inshallah, I'll be traveling soon.
No. It's not going to be some off-air comments there.
Yeah,
that's off-air.
So inshallah, I'll be going soon, and I'll be doing as much as I can to build on something that I've started here, and I'll be continuing my work, and for the community, it'll be similar, it'll be exactly the same, and I'll be doing loads of work, and inshallah, I will be traveling soon. No fixed dates.
Chalo, theek hai. Ifzal, Fazal, much grateful to you for joining us here on this radio show.
Thank you.
And inshallah, best of luck for your event tomorrow.
Thank
as well.
you, Raoof.
Jazakallah khair. It's time for the outbreaks here at Iman FM. Inshallah, coming up next, we've got a discussion with Ibrar, and the gloves are off now, and inshallah, they will stay off all the way through till 6 o'clock. If you want to join us on the lines, for those 17 of you watching on Facebook Live at this moment in time as well, Jazakallah khair to you as well, and Jazakallah khair to my studio guest as well. As these two greet themselves, then it's time for the outbreaks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments.
कम्युनिटी है आवाज़ ईमान एफएम
अस्सलाम वालेकुम तारक हुसैन तुसां वास्ते प्रोग्राम सुनी के आए रिया है पठवार ने रंग ईमान एफएम पर जेड़ा तुसां दे प्रोग्राम पेश करया करसां शामी 8 तो किनी के 10 बजे तक आर बदारे ए सुनना ना भूले सिर्फ ईमान एफएम पर पठवार ने रंग तारक हुसैन ने संग
Khan Solicitors, experienced criminal defence lawyers in defending your rights. We can assist you get the best possible outcome if you're involved in any criminal matters, including murder, drug offences, sexual offences including grooming, terrorism, fraud and money laundering. We can provide free advice and assistance 24/7 at the police station. Call us on 0114 258 3399 at 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Visit us at khansolicitors.com. Over 20 years experience in defending your rights.
अरे शमसुद्दीन भाई यहाँ कहाँ घूम रहे हैं?
भैया रोडरम में कोई खाने का अच्छा जगह है?
रोडरम में उम्दा और लजीज खानों का वाहिद मरकज चौधरीज ओरिएंट एक्सप्रेस।
अरे भैया तो टाइम जाया ना करो, जल्दी करो, भूख लग रहा है।
देर न लाओ, आज ही आओ ते फायदा उठाओ।
Cater to impress, चौधरीज ओरिएंट एक्सप्रेस, प्रिंसेस स्ट्रीट रोडरम, टेलीफोन 01709552527।
हर कोई सज्जन मित्र बोले चौधरीज ओरिएंट दे पैगे रोले, कुकड़ पाए ते गोश्त कढ़ाई, आके खाओ होले होले।
Aziz Catering, the award-winning caterers specialising in weddings, engagement, birthdays, business parties or any other special occasion from 30 to 5,000 people and delivered anywhere in the UK. All starters, main course and desserts freshly cooked to order and you're welcome to taste before you order. Aziz Catering, 1 Whitefield Place, Bradford, BD8 9JB. Call 01274 488874. Aziz Catering, once tried, never forgotten.
At iLet4U, we know that being a landlord can be a frustrating business, but it doesn't have to be. iLet4U can find you tenants in under a week. iLet4U, specialist in selective licensed properties.
अगर आप मकान किराए पे लगाना चाहते हैं तो हमारी खिदमत हासिल करें और घर बैठे किराया पाएं। iLet4U पर हम आपके घर को अपना घर समझकर रेंट पे देते हैं।
Start finding tenants today by contacting iLet4U, 60 Page Hall Road, Sheffield, 0114 327 2020.
मुअज़्ज़म अली शहीद वेलफेयर ट्रस्ट के ज़ेरे एहतमाम जेएलएम में कायम अस्पताल में पिछले 18 सालों से इलाज मुआलजा मुस्तहिक अफराद को फी सबिलिल्लाह फराहम कर रहा है। गरीब खानदानों और यतीम बच्चों के लिए माली इमदाद दी जाती है।
With your help we can save lives, educate and help reduce poverty.
आप अपनी ज़कात, सदका व खैरात ट्रस्ट को देकर इस कार्य खैर में अपना हिस्सा डालें।
For more info call on 077 251 5561 or visit muslimtrust.org.uk.
إعلان عاجل لسائقي سيارات الأجرة وسيارات الأجرة الخاصة وسيارات هاكني كاريج. مستر كومبنسيتر يدفع 2000 جنيه كتعويض لطالبي التعويض لسيارات الأجرة، سيارات البرستيج وسيارات الدفع الرباعي بسبب الحوادث. التعويض مضمون بنسبة 100%. خدمتنا متوفرة طيلة 24 ساعة على 7 أيام. اتصل بنا الآن على الهاتف رقم 0114-386-3386. التعويضات تنطبق على سيارات الأجرة فقط، كل ذلك وفقا للشروط والأحكام.
Iman FM. This is Iman FM. You are listening Iman FM 103.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. A good afternoon, good evening to all of you out there as well. Jazakallah khair for all your Facebook comments. Inshallah, we'll go through them very, very quickly before we get back to our debate topic. Lisa Parker, Nazim and Aftab Ahmed are watching with you and 11 others. Jazakallah khair to all of you. Salam to you and your guests, Lisa Parker. and that's Salam Ibrar just in the background fading there. And also Nazim Khan says Islam is not meant for a specific nation nor for a certain race. Also, it is not associated with a certain time or place. It is suitable for all times and places and is meant for all human races. Well done, says Families Relief. Mashallah ji, brother, keep it up. Aurangzeb Khan, mashallah, good subject, keep it up. And Lisa Parker, mashallah, excellent show. As always, Nasser, keep up the good work, brother. Mashallah, jazakallah, Lisa. Thank you very much as well. Thank you for all of you joining as well. And you listen to the Drive Time with me, Nasar Raoof. Inshallah, not long to go now until the end of the show. And we're going to be talking to our guest in the studio, which is now Ibrar Hussain. And we're talking to him about Brexit and also some taxi issues, and inshallah that topic as well. I do want to get his I'm gonna inshallah we're gonna talk about some other issues as well. Interesting text message I've had there. Jazakallah for that as well. Jazakallah for all your input so far as well. Inshallah we'll come back to your comments in a short while in time indeed. But let's go to our studio guest, and joining me is Ibrar Hussain. Ibrar, first of all, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, sir.
How are you?
How are you? Okay, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Really good to have you back on Drive Time. And how are things out there?
The weather is lovely. Nice.
It started to rain. Has it stopped?
No rain. Rain stopped play. And my apologies for yesterday's program.
No taxi
time. I was away, so, and Hamid was also busy, so apologies. Next week, inshallah, 6 o'clock.
Fantastic. Right, okay, let's kick things off. Before your news stories that we've got to talk about, let's talk about my news stories. And my news stories is all the activity that's been going off on the social media, especially regarding Islam in the wake of the Westminster attacks. We've spoken to you very briefly over the phone lines, but inevitably, where do you stand on this? Where do you understand almost 1 week on now from the incident? What's your thoughts? What's your feelings?
Yeah, before I go on to that, I think you have a twice a week paper review. I think instead of having a paper review, I think at least you should have a online trend. The way the news is coming, the new way. I think the newspapers of today, not everybody reads the news through the newspapers, but through the online, Facebook, or follow it on their smartphones. I think there needs to be a new way of looking at reading the news or paper reviews or news feed. And I think new versions of views should be adopted now of how to present the public opinion out there, which is fast moving, but it needs to be translated between the people as well. So that's one of my suggestions to you.
Okay.
As for the London, I think we just have to get on with life. Why should I be apologetic for some silly person going out and carrying out this silly and evil act, killing innocent people? And to me, I just got on with my life, and I didn't do this, and I don't believe in this, and it's wrong. And why should I be apologetic? Okay. People say with a Christian before and Muslim now, and even I don't even believe in that. I think whoever's done it is an individual act, and I condemn that. And I think that's a simple way of doing it.
Okay, but there are individuals that say that more and more of these attacks seem to be committed at this moment in time. If you look in Europe, the last several attacks that we faced as a country and as a Europe, as one united army as it was, faced many atrocities. Several of the atrocities have been majority claimed to be Muslim, people that claim to be Muslim. Also, if you look at some of the violence around the world at this moment in time, majority of it, or a proportion of it, is definitely being committed in the name of Islam. What is it so appetizing that people see with that religion, or is it just it's individuals yet again, and it just happens to be Muslim individuals that are committing it? What's your thoughts on that?
Look, which faith says go and carry out these atrocities? No faith does. These are, as I said, these are individuals who will do what they will do, and that for them may be fun, or maybe for them a revenge of some kind, or some thinking in their mind. And if you look at all these individuals and look at the history, you will see that there will be a track record that will come out of their activities in the past. So there are many issues across the world, or of these kind of atrocities happen. It was happening in IRA time in Northern Ireland. What's happened in Spain, in many other countries, and these sort of attacks have happened. Now there's more more prominent or is much more media led as well. So Muslims are to blame. Yes, Muslims, these individual Muslims do it, but not all Muslims do this, and all Muslims condemn this, because don't forget they have killed many Muslims as well. In Pakistan, how many terrorist attacks, bombs there have been, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and who have they killed? Local innocent people. So we're going to weigh this up and weigh it up very fair and clearly, that everyone condemns this, whoever is a human being, and if one loss of life is lost as a human, it's a tragedy for the whole humankind.
Let's go to our phone lines here, and she's joining us. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM.
Wa alaikum assalam, Nasar, Raoof and Ibrar bhai. You want me to speak in English?
Javed bhai, aap urdu mein baat karen please.
Chalo theek. मैं समझता हूँ 2-3 जहांगीर अख्तर साहब के मैंने व्यू सुने हैं, उसके पहले फाजल, मैं उनका पूरा नाम तो कैच नहीं कर सकता,
इफजाल फाजल नाम है उसका, वो नदरिज से।
बिल्कुल। मेरे इब्रार भाई के मैंने व्यू भी सुने हैं। मेरे ख्याल में मुसलमानों को हमें किसी चीज की अपॉलोजेटिक की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि these people who committed these acts, ये हम में से नहीं है, हम इनको रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करते हैं, ये मुझे रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करते हैं और मेरी कम्युनिटी को रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करते हैं, ये मेरा ईमान है। और मेरे ख्याल में अगर इनकी हिस्ट्री को देखें, जितने भी अटैक आपने नासर भाई आपने बताए हैं, अगर वो देखें तो उनके बिहाइंड एक हिस्ट्री है। ये सब लोग किसी न किसी क्रिमिनलिटी में पहले से इन्वॉल्व थे और इनकी बहुत सी कन्विक्शन है। मिसाल के तौर पर जिस आदमी ने ये कमिट किया है, उसके खिलाफ वो प्रिजन में भी 2 मरतबा प्रिजन में भी शायद जा चुका है, उसके अलावा उसके खिलाफ बहुत सी कन्विक्शन है। मैंने अखबार में पढ़ा है, मुझे नहीं पता ये सच है, ये काफी स्टोरी लंबी थी, मैंने आपके फोन पे ये न्यूज़पेपर में कल मैं पढ़ रहा था कि उसने प्रोस्टिट्यूट यूज किए हैं while वो मैरिड था, ड्रग्स यूज किए हैं। These people doesn't represent Muslims, and no we can call them Muslims.
तो आप क्या सोचते हैं, ये जो इवेंट ये ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं इफजाल फाजल साहब, जो इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं, वो कंडेम करने की कम्युनिटी की तरफ से, वो कहते हैं ये हम शोल्डर के साथ खड़े हैं, सॉलिडारिटी के साथ।
I think it's a good event in one sense, because देखिए नासिर भाई, जिस दिन से पोस्ट इराक वॉर के बाद 9/11 के बाद मुसलमानों पे आप जो भी न्यूज़पेपर निकाल, स्पेशली डेली मेल, संडे सन और स्टार, देखते जाएं, आपको हर दिन नई से नई स्टोरी मिलेगी। मिसाल के तौर पर एक दिन मैंने स्टोरी पढ़ी कि one lady, she claimed her son turned Muslim because he went to a halal KFC. Because of that, his son turned to Muslim.
Chalo, Jazakallah, thanks for that, Javed bhai, and inshallah we'll put some of the points across and Ibrar can respond to that as well. Jazakallah, that's Javed Saab, and he's given his view. You can give your view as well, and his views are his views, not necessarily that of Iman FM. And let's come back to Ibrar Saab, and what do you want to say to Javed bhai, some of the things that he said?
Well, these are Javed's views, and I think what he is saying is that these kind of people don't represent him and his voice, and he's correct in saying that. And as for the event tomorrow, or it's been organized, it's one way of making awareness within our community as well, that not in our name, yes, not in our name, because we don't approve of this, we are against this. And the community, I think what we need to see is the community be a lot more active within the society as well where we live. I think that's the whole message.
Do you think we've done enough in this country to integrate into the political systems here, into the media platforms? Because on media platforms we've got, alhamdulillah, locally we've got a lot of numbers, but if you look on the national scale, like the BBC,
I think we're getting there. I think there has been many challenges within the system. There are still challenges within the system, and we will overcome those challenges, but slowly and surely we're getting there. I think education is the key.
Okay.
Getting involved in the community is key. You don't all have to be politicians and have the seats at the high place. No, it's being seen there, but doing the practical work, I think, is called integrity.
Integrity?
Yeah, integrity in a sense to show that nobody's looking at you, but you're doing the right thing.
Right, okay, so that's a different concept, and usually a concept that doesn't get talked about on media platforms. Just exploring that point a bit more further, integrity, when you're talking about integrity, talking about individuals just be doing their regular job, but doing it with a bit of pride and a bit of honesty.
Do it for the right reason.
Doing it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reason. Not for photo shoot or the top table. Do it, get involved voluntary, charities, community activities, and you will see the difference. It makes a hell of a difference to the value of work you do. I think that's what's needed, yeah.
Fantastic. Let's move on then. Let's move on from that topic and let's go into the other stuff that we want to talk about. I'm going to talk about on the taxi front, if we may talk about that first, and then we'll talk about Brexit.
I think we'll talk about that first.
Yeah, we were going to, but this would be one of the topics that we wanted to carry on going. If anybody wants to join in with anything, what we're saying, they can feel free to jump on the lines and the text numbers. But Ibrar, in regards to Uber, there's been some interesting news now since a couple of days now that's been running with George Osborne and David Cameron. What's that?
Well, I mean, that's been a hot topic on the Facebook, has been on the papers, Daily Mail, I think Independent have run a story, Sun is onto it now, The Mirror, everybody, Financial Times as well, is when George Osborne was the Chancellor and David Cameron was Prime Minister, and putting the pressure on the Mayor of London, Boris.
Yes.
And Boris wanted to change the regulations in 2015, and he did a complete 180 degrees U-turn and came and said, no, I'm not changing any regulation, when he wanted to change because everything was being abused. He knew that what was happening. And when the pressures from 10 Downing Street, from the officials, on behalf of David Cameron was ringing and shouting at him, at his staff, and putting pressure, and then when they met one-to-one as well, there were pressure. The now email leaks, TFL and everything. So the whole issue is a mess, and a political lobbyists and everything, and I think what we need is a public inquiry to get to the bottom of this, because there were always suspicions when the whole Uber thing came up that something was wrong. And I think it's very funny then, because Osborne gets a job for 48 days, 650,000. Not bad. 2 days.
The biggest underlying issue here, Ibrar, is for those people that may not be aware, inevitably some of our listeners that have not listened to the Taxi Time previously due to work and commitments, the underlying issue here is the deregulation, which has caused much of the problem, much of the chaos that's been seen in Rotherham and Sheffield.
The problem is people getting licensed in TFL, which is Transport for London area, living in locally and getting a license for vehicle and driver and working here. That is going to be tightened up, but then there's a lot of problems being created and headache and mess. So that needs tidying up quickly. Or people living, getting a license from Rosendale or Isles of Anglesey, etc. We've got a vehicle from Slough, Wakefield. I mean, is bizarre, it's wrong, is silly what's happening. Government has to act. But today there was a hearing in Parliament with regards to the West Streeting MP with the all-party parliamentary group, who's now thoroughly looking at it. Today was the last hearing. And there's been unions, associations who made representation in all the hearings, and hopefully something good will come out of this.
But inevitably you've got every local firms jumping on the similar idea now as well, because you've got a policy which came from Sheffield City Council not so long ago, if I recall, about August or September, October time, where inevitably what you agreed as a council that inevitably you're going to stop, you're going to have local people taking on, but then inevitably those same local companies have just gone and bought a base in another office in another town or city, got another phone number, and inevitably they've carried on employing these out-of-town drivers illegally.
I think I'm not going to mention any company's name in your show because it won't be right, but there is now evidence coming that what's happening, as you exactly have said, is abuse of the system.
Okay.
And they're playing the rules. Put it that way. They're playing the rules.
But inevitably they're still on the legal side of the law, because inevitably the law's allowing it.
The law is allowing the subcontracting, yeah.
How far away? Because we've been seeing this subcontracting issue going on for quite some time now.
It came in 2015, October 2015 it came in.
Yeah.
And we're in 2017. In 2 years, just under 2 years, the devastation is done to the taxi trade is butted to its knees.
How long?
Some people say that apnea or all this, that. Everyone's been affected. and that's where the problem is. When I read on the Facebook, it's apnea and leave that and etc. Well, at the same time, other apnea have been affected as well. Let's play by the rules. Let's have the rules for everyone.
There was one concept which I do want to put out to you, and inevitably I'm going to be honest with it. They say from a religious perspective, they give the justification. Well, roti rizq, Allah writes everything. Inevitably, what is wrong with you? Why are you Ibrar Saab, or why are you Ibrar Hussain, or why is this union, or why is this person, this individual trying to destroy the livelihood or the roti rizq of this driver? These drivers are just earning as well. Inevitably, there's money for everybody to be made from the taxi scene. Would you not agree with that kind of sentiment?
Well, I represent an organisation which is membership led, number one.
Okay.
Number two, I'm representing those apnea as well who are same members of the same community as well. So when they bring religion in, they bring in religion in for their own benefit, not for the principle. Hypocrisy, I think, is the word I will use here.
Okay.
The more hypocrites than anything else. And speaking the truth and honesty to defend your trade and your rights is one thing. And then they bring religion in for their own benefit of how they interpret. Don't bring in religion, practice it first.
Let's talk about the timescale as to, you've talked about a couple of years and it's so much devastation. You can imagine what another couple of months will do. It will cause chaos as well. So how far are we, or how far are you and your union from actually getting this issue amended, getting this deregulation bill resolved, and start to return some sort of order to the taxi situation here?
I think all the unions across the country, GMB, Unite, RMT, and the London Taxi Trade Association, which is a Black Cab Association, are the only ones who are going to get this law changed, and the ones who are pressing for this. We are trying our best. Okay. It's not in our hand, it's in the hands of the MPs. Our local MPs are all on board, regular contact. We are trying, at least from my perspective and my members' perspective. I've joined a union, I'm a part of an organisation. I don't just talk the talk, but I also walk. Those who are listening, don't just talk. Join a union, join an association, and let's get rid of this crap you come out with. Instead of saying that, what have you done? I want to ask them, what have they done for the trade?
Right, okay. So that's a concept that's been put across. That's in regards to some of the situation with Uber, that news that you heard.
It's nonsense some people talk about when you're trying to defend your trade for your rights and you're trying to protect it, and they come up with religion, apnea and everything. I think this is a radio. If it wasn't a radio, I would be using it very strong. But I'm fed up of certain comments that come across to me and my colleagues from the GMB. We are not. We are trying to make sure that we are trying to defend a livelihood and our members' rights, and we're only doing the right thing.
Okay, so that is the concept that you put across. And inevitably, there were other news stories that we want to briefly touch upon as well, especially the situation regarding Brexit, and a lot of confusion really in the midst of it all. Really, there's been protests outside Sheffield Town Hall, the Human Chain, which was being formed. There's various things kicking off on that front, or which is going to be held on tomorrow. People are really confused as to where they're standing, including the government ministers themselves. David Davis himself, the cabinet member responsible for this, inevitably he's saying, well, it's uncertain as to what's going to happen, and including our Prime Minister. What's your views and what's your stance on that?
Well, first of all, why people put in chains and everything? Because the people of this country, 52% have spoken.
Okay.
The Parliament have unanimously have given the go-ahead because they had to, because of what the people have said. That's what the purpose of referendum is. Referendum is done, and what a fantastic result. Because I am
fantastic result. You say fantastic. Some would say really negative result.
Well, they may do that. Because, people aren't daft to put a cross for the leave. It was done for the reason, and that reason has to be, and you have to respect the decision and the vote of the people.
Inevitably, certain facts at the time of the campaign were wrong. They were lies, if you like to call it that, because inevitably some of the money that was being promised by UKIP and various people, person that you named yourself, Boris Johnson, and what's kicking off.
What did he say?
Inevitably at that time,
what did
there was
he
a lot
of
money that was being promised for NHS and
what
for
did he
various
say?
things. There was many.
Listen to what they said. What did he say?
Did UKIP? Did you saw the side of the bus?
No. What did he say?
You saw the side of the bus. Inevitably, you've got to respect the people's opinion. That people were lied to.
People have spoken.
Okay.
People have spoken.
Okay.
Respect that. Parliament has spoken. Respect that. House of Lords have spoken. Well, I don't believe in House of Lords anyway, but the Parliament has spoken, and we have to respect that, and negotiations will now begin from tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think you just have to wait and see what will come at the end of those negotiations. But if the negotiations still fail, then government can come back and tell us what's happened and what's the next process way forward. But however, I think that everyone will not go away and say we don't want to trade with Britain.
Okay.
They will trade with Britain, and Britain will trade with them, because not every country on this earth is in Europe. There are only 27 countries. There are other countries in Europe who are not members of EU as well. So EU, you know what the EU's what the basis of at the beginning? It was a common market to do business.
Access to a single market.
Yes, and trade.
Okay.
It wasn't a marriage bureau. It wasn't as a marriage bureau that we keep on getting married and have kids and all. Everything has been expanded to 28. It wasn't for that. It wasn't for political union.
Okay.
It was for business, and that was the reason it was there for. Let's be honest about that.
Okay.
Some of the things what UKIP says, I mean, I don't agree with what UKIP does and says. However, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. People have spoken. Let's respect that. And let's move forward.
People have spoken. People have given them the decision to come out.
And those people who didn't. How many people voted? 80-odd%?
Yep.
If the other 15-20% who didn't vote, it's their fault. They should have voted. They should have. They always vote with full information.
Okay. 52%, as you put it, were voted to come out. Obviously, they've voted. They've given the power to come out of Europe. But what terms and conditions? Inevitably, yesterday, Jane Thomas was on Amber Show in regards to this, and she put across the perspective that they've given them the destination, but not how to get there and what terms and conditions there should be. Inevitably, Parliament's not going to get much of a say on this, and inevitably, the public won't get a say on this at this moment in time, because that's not the intentions of the Prime Minister. So inevitably,
the British people gave the instruction to the British Parliament, to the parliamentarians, get on with it. We want to leave. That was, you want to leave, yes or no? That was a question.
Okay.
It didn't say soft or hard. It said leave.
So
and that has been, the result is there.
The result is there. The proof is in the pudding. What about what about when the negotiations now start taking effect? What do you think with that? Do you think it was right? Do you feel proud of your MPs? Do you feel proud from the House of Lords and various others that have been involved in this process to say that the EU citizens that are living in this country can be used as bargaining chips? Do you agree with that principle?
When you do your negotiations, you keep your cards very close to your chest. You don't put your cards on the table.
Okay.
And I think that's what government was trying to avoid. Clearly that's how the negotiations are done.
Do you think that's morally and ethically that is accepted? Do you as a human being think that human beings should be used as a bargaining chip? Because some of these working for the NHS, some of these people may be operating on you 6-7 months down the line, or operating on me 6-7 months down the line, because inevitably, and would you not like them?
But how would you say that a European member of European citizens can come across to this country without any checks on anything, but then if you bring somebody from Pakistan or Bangladesh and India, it's 18,600. Justify that for me there.
But isn't that a question that needs to be asked to
That's
people
been
that
asked.
are in there?
That's been asked. That's been asked. That's been reviewed legally. It's been lost.
Okay.
So what do you say to that person who gets married and can't bring their spouse over here? Okay. But somebody from Europe can walk across here.
Okay.
Let's have fairness. Let's have fairness about that. And don't forget, the Europeans who live, British citizens who live in Europe, benefit Europe. Remember that. In France, in Germany, in Spain and everything, they benefit. Who are the pensioners, people who are retired? The people who come across here are absolutely different. It's a different case altogether. You open British borders and see what will happen. And that debate, I can continue with that debate on this, because the effects on this country are enormous. So let's have a fairness in this debate. And by saying the humans negotiations on and this whole trade deal, no. When negotiations take place, they are for a reason. It's not about human beings being bargained here or any sense. No, there are many other negotiations in this trade that will happen as well, and I think we need to be very mindful of that. And let's see what those negotiations come back with.
Fantastic. It's the end of our show now, and Jazakallah for all of you joining. Thank you very much, Ibrar, for joining us here on Drive
Thank
Time.
you. These are my views, not your views.
Absolutely, don't you worry. There is a certain thing which I always play out.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are not necessarily held by Iman FM. We encourage the listeners to use their wisdom and knowledge to make their own observations and conclusions. Please continue to listen and support your community radio Iman on 103.1 FM.
That's how Iman FM disclaimer. That's why Ibrar is making saying there at the end of the conversation. Thank you for all of those that joined us on Facebook as well. Lisa, thank you very much to all your comments as well. Nazim Khan, Muhammad Amin watching live as well. Aurangzeb Khan, mashallah ji, brother, keep it up. Nazim Khan as well, a good subject, keep it up as well. Mashallah, it's end of Drive Time show, and inshallah have a wonderful evening all of you. Inshallah we'll be back tomorrow. The Court Musketeers will be in the studio. Hafiz Nasir Khan as well will be in the studio as well, and inshallah lots of more free tickets to give away as well to the event. It's all free now. Just get in touch with us. 014 24 25 200 and our text 0788 55 99 786. Time for the ads then, and Allah Hafiz.
For the community, by the community, Iman FM 103.1 FM.
नात क्या है निगहतों की सरजमी का तज़किरा नात क्या है सब हसीनों से हसी का तज़किरा प्रोग्राम नात क्या है जिसमें आदाब नात अदायगी नात और तलफ़्फ़ुज़ नात पर गुफ्तगू की जाएगी हर मंडे की शाम 8 बजे कारी मोहम्मद शहजाद के साथ सिर्फ ईमान एफएम पर
For reliable, professional, and quality immigration services, consolicitors, sponsorship visas, British citizenship, indefinite leave to remain applications, human rights, domestic violence, judicial reviews. You live your life. Let Collin Solicitors do the legal work for you. Call us on 0114-258-3399 or our dedicated 24-hour emergency helpline 07976 958 826 or visit www.collinsolicitors.com.
Advertisement is key to meet your business needs. Would you like to boost your business? Do you want to target your market? How can you effectively reach your customers quickly? Here at Iman FM, advertising is a fact. That's affordable, flexible,